If you listen to yesterday's show, you got 3 plays in Major League Baseball. You went 3-0. Let's see if we can do it again here today on the Morning Wager. Mark Zinno bet leadoff, and he's talking Mets Nationals. Mark, what do you got cooking for this one?
Yeah, BP, my half of the double play here. It's not often that I want to buy into teams that are on the verge of a sweep. Usually I buy into teams that are on the verge of being swept, but the Mets have taken the first 2 games against the Washington Nationals, and it's Patrick Corbin Day. What does that mean? It means that the Mets are facing a guy who's got a 1-6 record, a 5.83 ERA, and a 1.67 WHIP. A guy that has given up a whole bunch of walks this year, 26 of them, in fact, in 66 innings. And he's given up at least 2 earned runs in each of his last 4 starts. In fact, he's given up 4 earned runs in 2 of his last 3. The Mets are going to put runs up. It's just a question of really how good can Luis Severino be on their end for them to be able to finish this thing off. But Washington has lost 8 of the last 11 games that Corbin has pitched. So the odds are a little bit in our favor here. I know the Mets aren't necessarily great against lefties, but this is Patrick Corbin we're talking about, and doesn't matter what arm he throws with, they're going to find a way to get hits against him. So we get a moderate price here with the Mets going for the sweep. I think they get it done tonight. Give me the Mets over the Nats here for my half of the double play.
If this sounds repetitive, well, that's because it is. For my half of the double play, we're taking a look at the Reds against the Rockies. Here on the show, I gave out the Reds Monday. They won 13-3. I gave out the Reds Tuesday. They won 4-1. Guess what? I'm giving out the Reds here again on Wednesday. Look, guys, this series has simply not been appropriately priced. I've been talking about all week. Look at the run differential column. Cincinnati is now in the positive in run differential for the season. So very misleading that they're a last place team. Well, Colorado is very much one of the 2 worst teams in the National League, one of the 3 worst teams in baseball. I have them in my power ratings. So for Cincinnati to be priced as only a short road favorite in each of these 3 games, in my opinion, has just been inaccurate. And I've said it the past 2 days. I'm going to say it again now. The Reds have had the edge in starting pitching. The Reds have the edge in the bullpen. The Reds are just the better team. They have the better lineup. And we look at today's starting pitching matchup. Ashcraft on the road this year in 7 starts, 3.11 ERA, 1.301 WHIP. Hudson for Colorado. He has been terrible in his 5 starts at Coors Field. 7.43 ERA, 2 WHIP. So Ashcraft over Hudson, another starting pitching edge for the road team in this one. And I expect the Reds to break out the brooms this afternoon in Coors Field. Gimme that Skyline Chili. Cincinnati, my half of the double play. Now, before we get to today's best bet, just want to tell you what I've got going here on with WagerTalk.com for Wednesday. MLB double play. It includes an early game. We've got 1-day game, 1 evening game. You can get both picks for just $29 right now on my page. You see it there, wt.buzz/BP. I'm on an 11-5 run in MLB. Also on a 32-17 run in NBA. Of course, I've mentioned it before this week, that 4% best bet I've got going for game 1 of the finals Thursday. Stay tuned for some NBA finals discussion, by the way. Also 17-5-1, my last 23 in soccer. The Euros are coming up, so it's not a bad idea to end June with a bang, guys. Take advantage of the latest Wager Talk special offer. Get the rest of my plays for June, all sports, for just $199. That applies to me. It applies to Mark. It applies to every Wager Talk capper. So head over right now, wt.buzz/BP, to start winning now and take advantage. MLB double play starts early this afternoon. Mark, what do you got cooking?
Yeah, BP, it's still up there on the site, man. Look, a 5% play in tomorrow night, game 1 of the NBA Finals. We're now 3-1 over our last 4 baseball plays. So starting to heat up on the diamond as well. We'll have 3 plays in Major League Baseball tonight, but that 5% play in game 1 of the NBA Finals, 4-1 this NBA postseason on 5% plays, guys. So locked and loaded here. Go to the site, wt.buzz/MZ. Get that 5% play as well as the baseball package with not 1, not 2, but 3 plays for today.
All right, for today's best bet, we're taking a look at the AL East. Baltimore has taken the first 2 games of a 4-game set north of the border from the Blue Jays, but the line is flipped. Toronto is favored today, Mark. Is that a justifiable favorite? We think so because of this starting pitching matchup, don't we?
Yeah, BP. The Blue Jays here in a spot in a 4-game series against a division rival here in the Baltimore Orioles. And, you know, this is a spot here where you lose the first 2, pressure starts to mount a little bit because you don't want to lose the first three of the series and then be in danger of being swept at home. That's not anything any sports fan wants to read. The back page of the sports pages that their team got swept at home, no less, in a 4-game series. But a couple of things are in Toronto's favor. They start Jose Barrios, who is one of their most, if not their most consistent starter. He carries a 1.60 ERA and a 208 OBA, opposing batting average against, at home this season. So guys aren't getting hits off him. This is probably the guy they need to be the stopper in this scenario here. Orioles start Albert Suarez, whose numbers kind of look great. He's been both a starter and a reliever, but I'm not a big believer in him yet. 4 of his 5 starts were against really weak lineups like the A's, the Twins, the Angels, and the White Sox. So he hasn't exactly had to face a gauntlet of lineups here and really big hitters. I expect that Toronto, who's only scored 3 runs in the first 2 games of this series, will have a little bit of positive regression. So I like them here in this spot to get a win. Like them in the first 5 as well. This is a spot here for Toronto where if they don't win today, guys, guess what? We come back, we play on them tomorrow to not get swept with a 4-game series at home.
Yeah, Barrios, he's been great at home. Like I said, 4-1 is the team with him on the mound here in Toronto. 1.6 ERA, 0.92 whip. Barrios, I think the odds makers are telling you who the right side is. It's very hard, of course, to sweep a 4-game series on the road, as good as Baltimore has been in this series and against the AL East in general going back the last couple seasons. I think Toronto gets on the board here and salvages at least a game before tomorrow's series finale. So Toronto is your show best bet. Let us know what you think of that down in the comments section below. Who's your favorite bet for MLB on Wednesday? We want to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed already to the WagerTalk YouTube channel, it's very simple. All you do is click the subscribe button down below. And if you would be so kind as to throw us a like, smash that thumbs up button. We always appreciate your support as Mark and I continue to drop free plays in Major League Baseball and the NBA Monday through Friday here on WagerTalk TV. All right, Mark, the day is almost here. Tomorrow, the NBA Finals finally, and I do stress the word finally, get underway. We'll, of course, have a ton of talk about it tomorrow, but we've been talking about it all week, okay? Not just game 1, but this entire series between the Celtics and the Mavs. We've talked side, we've talked total. Today, we want to focus on the MVP market, and I think a lot of people are going to gravitate towards the usual suspects here, Zinno, whether it's Luka or Kyrie for Dallas, whether it's Brown or Tatum for Boston. I'll tell you, of those 4 who I like the least, it's Kyrie. Kyrie in the last 2 rounds, really? If you look at his points per game, yes, it's Kyrie. If you look at his points per game the last 2 rounds, it hasn't been there. When he used to be on Boston. I don't know if you heard that. But, that's going to be the big talking point, obviously, for the next couple weeks. But since leaving the Celtics, he's faced them 10 times, and he has really struggled when guarded by White. His numbers are not good. Kyrie is 0 for 10. His last 10 meetings against the Celtics. So, it just hasn't worked out for him against the guys in green. So I don't like Kyrie to be the MVP in the series here. Who do you like? I know, if you like the Boston side, it's kind of a coin flip between Brown and Tatum.
Yeah.
I know the price is there on Brown, but I think I like Tatum better, even though, the odds are not quite as fun to back him in this market.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're not interested in Al Horford at 370 to 1, I'm not, for the record. I think the price for Kyrie is probably the most appetizing, right? At 18 to 1. Obviously, Jaylen Brown around 7 to 1. Those are the guys. And look, I think we all generally feel that for Boston, if it's not Tatum or Brown, or for Dallas, it's not Luka or Kyrie, then guess what? Like, something has gone incredibly awry. Like, I don't think either one of these teams are going to be able to win this series without 1 and 1A for both teams playing the biggest role, right? As much as Kristaps Porzingis can change what Boston does offensively and defensively to a certain extent, he's not changing the series outcome if Tatum is playing like dog crap for 5 games. Right? If Jaylen Brown
Correct.
and Jason Tatum are only averaging 27 points between the 2 of them, 30 points between the 2 of them, guess what? Boston's not winning. So it doesn't matter at that point how good Kristaps Porzingis plays. And it's kind of the same thing when you look at, some of the other guys for Dallas, whether it be, Gafford or Washington or wherever it may be, Derek Lively, like, can these guys actually make a difference? Yes, they can when you talk about actual games, but there's no reason, in my opinion, to bet anybody other than the top four when we look at this whole thing. Can Drew Holiday do it? Is there a world where voters kind of look at him and knowing he has this championship pedigree of what he did in Milwaukee and go, yeah, there's a guy there who we view as somebody that we think carried this series? Maybe if there's a way they say defensively he locked down, Kyrie or Luka, and defensively he did this, and then offensively he added this. In aggregate, I think you could put that whole thing together. But in reality, no, I don't think it's anybody other than the top four that I would waste my money on.
All right. The day's almost here. Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Both Mark and I, as you just heard, we're locked and loaded for that one. If you want more baseball talk, guess who's on first pitch together today, buddy? You and me. Oh. There we go. Hey, some more baseball talk from you and me. Also, I've got a Kyrie Irving prop coming up on WagerTalk today. Check that out here elsewhere on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Again, if you already haven't subscribed, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button. It's very easy. Until tomorrow, when we'll be talking NBA Finals, the day's finally here. Let's cash some tickets.